Welcome to MarcusG.TV. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano.
And Jamie.
And I am a chef on a mission. And today's mission, what's today's mission?
Today we're going to be talking about garlic. And your garlic is being imported from China, filled with bleach and chemicals.
Yes.
Here is how to spot it.
Now, I've always been anti-Chinese garlic.
Always.
Always. And there was a day that the Chinese garlic was just like 4 times cheaper than American garlic. So you could buy a gallon of peeled Christopher Ranch American California garlic for like 18 bucks. And the Chinese was literally like $4.99. It was really inexpensive. Then it went to $5.99, then $8.99, $10.99. Now, we don't buy it, so I don't really know, but I believe it's probably still $5, $6, $7 cheaper for a gallon of garlic for Chinese garlic. So chefs are really drawn to saving the money.
Of course.
And of course, chefs don't care. Garlic's garlic to most chefs. They're just like, yeah, garlic.
They don't care where it's coming from, what's in it, what chemicals they're using. They're just using it for flavor.
Right. Just for
their food.
Yeah.
They don't care.
And I can guarantee you that most chains, if not 99% of chains out there, like I'm talking like Outback, TGI
Chili's.
Fridays, Chili's, I can guarantee you that most of those are using cheap Chinese garlic. That's how they make their money. On volume, cheap food, cheap ingredients.
Of course.
That's how they do it. On a corporate mentality, when you look at the two prices, you're like, you don't say to yourself, if you're one of these restaurants or a normal like mom and pop's restaurant, well, why don't we spend 50% more because we're buying a much cleaner product, and people don't think like that.
Well, but they're worried about the bottom line. They're not worried about the food they're giving you.
They're
not worried about the ingredients.
Exactly.
They're not worried about that.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter to them.
Doesn't matter. So let's jump into the article.
Those of you that care are going to really like this article a lot. Those of you who care about the food that you're putting into your body are going to like this article a lot, and it's going to make you stop and think, like it made me stop and think when I read the article, wow, I should really ask where their garlic is from, or please don't put garlic in my food.
Exactly, and that's what you have to do.
I really stopped and thought to myself when I was reading this article, I should ask where garlic comes from.
Yep, and that is super important as a consumer. Speak up. Speak up and let these restaurants know that you're concerned about the food, and you're not willing to just to eat cheap food because it's out there, right? You want higher quality food.
Yes.
So your garlic is being imported from China, filled with bleach and chemicals, and here's how to spot it.
All right. How often do you enjoy the pleasures of garlic? Have you ever looked at the garlic you buy at the grocery store closely and thought where this edible pleasure traveled from? You probably haven't, because you are absolutely sure it's a homemade product of your fruitful country. You go on enjoying a delicious meal, leaving a jealous odor in your apartment and putting your mouth cavity on fire while tasting some serious chemicals imported from, believe it or not homemade China. Here's an interesting fact. More than 80% of the imported garlic worldwide comes from China. This wouldn't mean anything to us if we think about it lightly, saying everything was made in China, but it should be a major alarm for your health.
So they're saying 80% of the imported garlic comes from China.
Imported.
Right.
Imported garlic.
And I would venture to say that over 80%, 90% of the garlic in the U.S. is imported from China. That a very, very small fraction of the garlic in the U.S. that we can go to grocery stores, or that like as a chef can call a vendor. When a chef calls a vendor, it's Chinese all day long.
Well, they do get into some more percentages as we go down in the article.
Good. You read the article, I didn't.
So some may remember a decade ago when California, the garlic capital of the world, produced all of the garlic in the USA, and we were all healthy and safe. Now we have a different story, and California garlic is slowly pushing its way out of the country with only 40% production. So it used to be much, much higher.
Almost 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Now it's only 40%. Even our dearest friend, organic garlic, is shipped from China.
It is. I've seen it.
Where you can hardly call anything organic. Are you surprised? Statistics say that suppliers provided a devastating 1/3 of the garlic in the U.S. stores and markets in 2014, which amounts to nearly 65,000 tons, or devastating 60% of garlic in the USA. This fact goes along with the information about Chinese garlic containing toxic materials. You keep wondering what makes garlic toxic. It is the way Chinese people cultivate it. They put pesticides not allowed to be used by the Chinese law in order to increase their production of garlic, some of which include Parthion and Phorate, illegal in China.
So they're breaking the law.
And when I was reading this, I got so confused because I'm thinking it's illegal in China, but they're still using it.
Yep,
so nobody is following through and inspecting and making sure. So if it's happening with garlic, I wonder what else it's happening.
It happens with everything. It happens with as much as they can get away with.
Of course.
It's happening with.
Because they need to make the money, and they're making the money. It's all about money.
Exactly.
So these pesticides have been on the list of high toxic poisons for quite a long time. They cause serious harm to people's health. Garlic contains methyl bromide with the purpose of killing the bugs. Exposure to this hazardous chemical in great concentration can lead to harming the respiratory and central nervous system. In some cases, it can be lethal. Garlic also contains other lethal substances, including sulfites and lead. As if the chemicals are not enough, garlic in China is exposed to cold temperatures. Treated with growth inhibitors, and overstorage is a major issue. When it comes to overstorage, it is important to point out that the allicin, the ingredients responsible for the health benefits of garlic, decreases under these conditions. To put this into one sentence, Chinese garlic is bleached. It is stated that various chemicals are used so that the garlic is whitened, stopped from sprouting, and insects are killed. Moreover, instead of proper irrigation, untreated sewage is being used for crop fertilization. Not only is the garlic itself toxic, but also the Chinese environment and soil are toxic as well because of the pollution problem that has been going on in China. One of the reports made by the government in 2014 claims the severe pollution of Chinese land with heavy metals such as arsenic and cadmium, whereas the amounts of fertilizers and pesticides is unsustainably high and health damaging. Having this in mind, we can all picture Chinese contaminated rivers receiving all these poisons from industrial life in Chinese homes as well.
Lots of Chinese rivers don't support life. You can't.
You can't when it's that toxic.
There's just nothing. There's nothing to. You can't. And here's the worst thing. Garlic's a root vegetable. Grows in the ground. So it's always in the ground. So that's where the stuff. That's where the water goes. That's where the
chemicals are.
Right.
The toxicities and everything.
Rice is grown in these rice paddies, which is always being filled with water. So that's why Chinese rice has large arsenic concentrations. There's reports a couple years ago how tainted rice is with arsenic.
Oh wow!
And we use here at the restaurant a California rice.
Yes.
Lundberg. We use Lundberg, and all their rice is tested, and we spoke to them ourselves.
Yes.
And their rice is super, super clean, but it's more expensive. Right?
Course.
So our rice is more expensive, our garlic's more expensive, everything we buy is just more expensive. And it's just because we don't feel right buying cheap ingredients. And after you read stuff like this, how in the world can you possibly want to eat this?
Feel better about the products that we're putting into your body, into other people's bodies, and into our own bodies.
Right, exactly.
So it makes us feel much better. So what can the poor customer who only wants to enjoy a happy garlic meal do to outsmart the toxic threat of the Chinese garlic? Stop using Chinese garlic in their diet is the obvious thing, but are there any ways to spot it? We need to learn how to spot this danger coming from China and become experts in garlic shopping. I have some great news for you, because it's actually very easy to spot the difference between California fresh garlic and the toxic one imported from China. You just need to look at the garlic at its bottom. Next time you go shopping, pay close attention to the following things. The regular garlic is heavier than the Chinese one, which is also less bulbous. Chinese traders save money on shipping, so they reduce the weight. There is a difference in the flavor. American garlic has a richer taste than the Chinese one. If we measure the garlic on the big flavor measurement scale, American garlic is 40 out of 40, whereas Chinese one measures 28 out of 40. Chinese garlic usually has its roots removed with a clean spot left, whereas American garlic always has roots. According to the Garlic Growers Association, no U.S. garlic grower removes the roots from the garlic.
That's a great tip to know. Really great tip. Another great tip is just read the label.
Well,
But, you know, if you're buying garlic bulbs,
but
it's
you
hard
need to be careful. You still need to be careful reading things.
Right, but you really need to look at the label itself. If you're buying it in a jar, if it's peeled, if it's already processed, if it's chopped or diced or minced in oil, definitely look. But this is a good tip for looking at just taking
Just a
2 cloves of
natural
garlic and just saying,
garlic.
hey.
This is the difference. So next time you're in the grocery store, pick up a Chinese and try to find an American and look at the differences between it, and it'll teach you pretty quickly.
The good news is garlic is so easy to grow. You plant it in the fall, you harvest it by July 4th, you get garlic scapes, you get garlic. It's so easy to grow. And by doing that, you know where it's coming from. It's cheap, inexpensive. It's cheapest and inexpensive, and you can grow it organically. So there you go. You don't need to rely upon all these chemicals like they're saying you need to rely upon these chemicals like Chinese do. That's just because there's such an imbalance in their soil, and it's a mass cultivation. But if you're going to grow 50, 60 heads, 100 heads, grow it yourself. You can do it in the smallest space too.
And it actually, the next tip talks about the top safest way to prevent you from consuming toxins is to buy garlic from the local farmer that you trust, or even growing it at your own home.
Yep.
There is no better feeling than eating something you have grown yourself.
Exactly.
Just be more cautious next time you go to the market and enjoy the benefits of the good old homegrown garlic in our diet without any worries.
So pay more, get more because it has more flavor, use less, and it's really not costing you more at that point, is it?
And really, it's better for your body, which in terms are not going to cause problems in the future.
Exactly. So go to restaurants, speak up and ask. Support American garlic in the store. Support your local farmer, because you can grow garlic in any state, right? So it doesn't need to be. They mentioned California. California is the commercial industrial producer of garlic in the U.S. But honestly, whatever state you're in, they're growing garlic. Yes. You can do it. You don't need to be in California. So support your local farmers market is the best. Then in the grocery store, look for California. And if they don't have it, avoid it. Absolutely. Avoid it and speak up when they speak up. Speak up. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano.
And Jamie.
Thanks for watching. If you like our videos,
press like, subscribe,
leave comments, and we'll talk to you later.